Hello and welcome to Unpopular Opinions. I thought it would be a good idea to try and start maybe a single person podcast. I don't know. I'm just here to talk about things that are important to me, what I think. We as a society are kind of lacking in, and just things that me personally I want to just bring some love into the world. So just a little bit of my background. I am a family support specialist, and I make it my duty in life to advocate for just trying to better ourselves as human beings, especially when we're encountering young little people who are just kind of trying to find their way in the world. And as we kind of progress through life and we're starting to see the ramifications, I would say, of being more open to outwardly, thoughts and ways of living. I feel like it kind of gives us a broader perspective to not be so close-minded when it comes to certain things. But in most cases, I believe we're all just learning and we're growing, and if my perspective can be of help, that's amazing. And if you don't like what I'm saying, that's fine too. We're just kind of all here, and the difference between some people is they choose to step out on a limb and try something different. And I think that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm just trying to kind of step myself into the places that I really kind of want to go in life. But I guess today I want to really just talk about, I don't even know. Let's kind of delve into it. I think I want to just maybe talk about accountability. I think that's a really important topic that we sometimes lack. We lack understanding of what it means to be accountable, especially when we're dealing with things that when people say or feel that they have wronged us or they've been wronged by us, whether in your mind is a logical thing or not, we do have to possibly take accountability for our role in every situation that involves us specifically. And you might say, how does that kind of intervene with trying to raise children or being in a child's life? If we ourselves can be accountable for our actions, our mistakes, our wrongdoings, the things that have hurt people, that's going to teach children to be accountable for the things that they do, not only now but in the future. Children are sponges. Children are literally watching as they're babies and they grow. They're learning every single thing from the sensories and the things that they have seen, the things that they've heard, the things that they've felt, the things that they have been open to. And I feel like it's our job as parents and as teachers and as people who are supposed to help shape these young ones. It's our job to kind of help them to understand how life kind of works in a way. And it's hard to do that when you yourself have endured so many things that have hurt you and have made you to feel that you can't trust, or you don't know what love, like genuine love is, because to you love is maybe being beaten or hurt or cursed out or told you're bad or told you're wrong, and that accountability part for the parents wasn't there. If a child is 2 years old and they're putting their finger in a light socket, what child of 2 has reasoning to say, this is going to hurt me? If your response is to scream and yell at them and hit them, that is triggering in their mind that I'm doing something bad, but my consequence for you not watching me or you not putting a plug in is that I'm going to be hurt. And if it was so easy to just beat them or to yell and scream at them and they would listen, I would say, well, why do you have to do it every day? You're just teaching them to use screaming and beating and anger as a way to project their feelings, because that's what they've been taught. And when they get to school or when they're around other people, they don't know how to control their emotions because they were never taught that. They were just met with anger, and they were met with being hurt and being told they were bad. But the fact of the matter is, a child doesn't have that sensory, they don't have that understanding, they don't have that logic that we as adults are supposed to have. But when you're busy kind of doing other things, because of course we do as parents and people of the world, we have to multitask. It's just a part of life. That's just a part of being a human being. Is if I have a family, I have to cook for them, I have to clean, I have to pick them up, I have to do laundry, I have to take them to sports, I have to do all these things on top of trying to cultivate and raise them. But that's kind of life. And the only way that it's going to work is if you put yourself on some type of accountability of how you're going to be able to process and get all of these things done. You may not be able to do it all in one day, because if you have piles of laundry that needs to get done, but you have to cook and you have to bathe the kids, that needs to be prioritized in your life, so you're not just overwhelmed. Because I know for myself, when I get overwhelmed because I have so many things I need to do, the first thing I do is shut down, because your mind is just so overstimulated with the things that you have to do, and you can't process it all. It's almost physically impossible, especially if you don't have the proper help, if you don't have breaks, if you don't have people to say, I'll take them. And then when you do get those breaks, if you are lucky enough to get them, you're so burnt out and so tired and so drained that you're not even able to do the things you need to do, because you've been working at such a high capacity of stress. It's very difficult. So the only thing that I would suggest is having some type of accountability of what needs to get done, whether you write it out, whether you have post-it notes all over the walls, whatever the case may be, that's going to motivate you to make sure that you can do the things that you need to do. Because as much as basic care for children is so important, they do need to eat, they do need to sleep, they do need, to have clean clothes, and they do need, other things. There's so much more that goes into raising a little one. They need to learn. You need to be reading to them daily. You need to be helping them with their fine motor and their gross motor. You need to be teaching them emotional accountability and how to control behaviors when they're feeling really frustrated, or when they're really upset, and when they're really sad. Because guess what? Children have emotions. Who would have thought? Here we are, angry and not knowing how to control and not knowing how to process and figure things out, because we were never taught that. And now we're working in this almost paralyzing place in our life to try to figure out how to, regulate things that we were never taught how to do. So, and then on top of it, right, you're trying to teach a child something you were never taught. And so you're learning with them, because this is a whole nother new human being, and they have their own set of emotions, and what works for you may not work for them. So you're learning them, and you're growing them, and you're teaching them on top of everything else that you have to do. It's quite a bit to think about. But that's why I say it's so important to, try your best to not be so hard on yourself. Give yourself that grace that nobody wants to give you in life, because everybody wants to point out all your flaws. Oh, you're alone, or oh, you yell, or oh, you have some clothes on the floor, and and don't talk about what they did. You talk about the little stuff that I've been doing or I've done, but let's not get onto the horrible, heinous things that happened while you had care of children. That's just too much. That's in the past, or whatever the case may be. That's all well and good, but the effects and the damage have already been done. And you putting someone down for being human and being open about the things that they're struggling with, maybe you need to rethink that. I don't know. That's just my, my personal thoughts. But, I think just to kind of round it back all together, accountability for oneself really is going to help cultivate a little bit more of understanding when it comes to children being able to be accountable for quote unquote things that they're doing in life. The fear tactics, the scaring, this yelling, the beating, it doesn't teach them. It really just kind of is a reaction to something that a child does. But it's not really giving them the knowledge of, if I put my finger in a socket, it's going to electrocute me. It could have horrible ramifications. It could really damage me. And you think, because they're young and they're little, that they won't understand that. But beating and screaming and telling them to stop is no more of a logical understanding to a child than you saying, if you put your finger in the socket, you'll electrocute yourself. So those are things that I feel like we have to think about as parents. There's obviously so many things that children can get into, and you can't stop everything, and you're not always going to be there. But if you give them that knowledge, if you give them the more of an understanding of the consequences as opposed to your fury and your anger, there's more of a chance, this is just chances by the way, that they won't do those things. Or they're going to at least think about it and say, okay, because I'm thinking logic of a kid maybe who is still processing, still learning. I can put my finger in the socket because I don't know what this is. This looks fun. This is something I've never seen. Don't even know what it does. And the options, depending on, the age or whatever's going on, you're going to come over there and scream at them. And in their mind, I don't know if they're processing, if I stick my finger in there again, I'm going to get screamed at. Some kids might. They're going to do it, and then they see you coming, they're going to go like that because they're afraid that you're going to hurt them, right? But then you have the other, you're going to stick the finger in the socket, and this could electrocute you. You may not know what that means, but your mom or dad or someone came over there and tried to explain it to you, and take your hand and gently push it to the side. This is not good. This could hurt you. I'm going to put something to protect you over this because you're too little to understand it, but I'm still going to explain it to you because as you grow older and as you mature and start to learn the reasoning and start to understand what I'm saying, it's going to be a more positive experience rather than you just being hurt, screamed, and beat, told you're bad. Child's bad for being curious? I don't know. I don't necessarily think that. A lot of children, it's all learned. If they're screaming no and yelling at you and hitting you, it's because that's what they've been taught. And they don't have the understanding as much as you want. Oh, kids are so smart. They're so smart. If they're so smart, why not talk to them? Because the last I heard, or the last time I've seen, a kid is screaming and cursing and yelling, and it's because they learned that. Not from the TV, not from somebody outside. They learned it from you. or the tablet, because kids are on tablets and phones quite a bit. But I mean, if you're censoring what they're watching, they're typically not watching things that are cursing, screaming, yelling, biting, fighting. Some kids probably do, but the majority are watching educational things telling them to breathe and count to 10 and calm their bodies and this is bad and all these other things that we're too tired to do. That's things that they are typically being exposed to. So yeah, that's just kind of my little, I don't know, what I want to call it, just piece of advice or just information that I have kind of just learned throughout the years of being a preschool teacher, working with families, working with my own family, my own personal experiences as a mother and as a person who's grown up, and remembering the things that I myself have went through. Although it's not all clear, the things that I do remember, unfortunately, isn't always like the most sunshine and rainbows. Hopefully this is helpful and I can talk to you guys a little bit more.